Hello, my name is Alex Stick, and I'm a professional martial artist. My specialty is the Nunchaku, aka Nunchucks. Well, I remember I was about 12 years old. I was at the beach and my friend came running down to say that Bruce Lee had died. And I said, "Who's Bruce Lee?" So we ran back and watched his movies. And the minute I saw him swinging the nunchucks and Enter the Dragon, I was hooked. That was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And I made my own pair. I went home, sawed some wood and tacked some leather between the two of them and started swinging them around. And I wasn't too good, but boy, I was hooked. And, I never put them down since. What impressed me the most about the nunchucks was the speed and the sounds and just the complexity of the weapon. Combined with the formal training, when I added the nunchucks to it, it was a wonderful combination, a wonderful blend, because I could use the principles and the physics from the regular training into the nunchucks and vice versa, and take both of my arts further than I would have been otherwise. How I got into competition was after several years of training, I just felt I needed to try it out. I needed to test myself, as we say, jump through a ring of fire and just see what happens. And so I did. I did a couple of tournaments and, I crashed and burned. I was terrible. But each tournament was a learning experience. Well, when I first started doing them, I feel as though not many people even knew what I was doing because it was so unusual. But more and more, I saw a sort of organic growth. More people started showing up with them, and the nunchucks started to get a little more respect. And what kept me competing for so long was, several things. First of all, to be completely honest, it's an adrenaline rush. When you get out in front of thousands of people, in front of the most critical judges in the world, and you've practiced a form 1,000 times, and you're trying to get it perfect in that one moment in space and time, there's really nothing else like it. You're alone in the world, but that's a true test of your spirit. And it sharpens you as a person, as a martial artist, and makes you get better very quickly. And many people never compete. A lot of martial artists never compete. Yeah, so I'll show you a couple of my sticks here. I got a nice collection going through the years. Ones I've preferred over others for various reasons. Start with my very first pair, the neons. Now, if you look real closely, this dark discoloration, that's all sweat. That's 40 years of sweat. I've never cleaned these things once. Why I like these is because they're so short and they force you to use the sticks in a way that keeps your elbows very tight to your hip bone. And that's where your power comes from when using the nunchucks, is the hips and the elbows. It's the combination of those two things working together. So these short sticks discipline you to keep those elbows in, which gives you more power. So that's why I like these guys. And they look cool too. Second ones are these are the newfangled latest design, and they're safety chucks. And pretty impossible to hurt anybody with these things. And that way, for legal reasons, they can practice them in more countries. These are great. You can whip them around real fast because they're light and you can't really hurt yourself too badly. Third would be, these are great. These are burnt rattan. They're very stiff and hard, but they're very light. So these probably have the greatest impact. These are kind of like a Ferrari. These things really move. And with the chains, get some nice sound effects with these too. The ones I use in competition, usually these. They're a little lighter, and they're also tapered. They're a little thicker at the end. They're a little smoother. I think the chain action is a little bit smoother. And then these are the very best of all. These are crafted. They're the perfect length. When you have the rope inside the stick like this, as opposed to the chain, it's a much stronger structure. And it's a shorter length of rope or chain, which means you have greater control over the weapon. So this gives you the greatest touch of any of these, the greatest feel, because of the soft wood and the rope. Gets tremendous control over the nunchuck. So this is where you can get the most creative with these things. And these are the ones I probably use the most. Great pair of sticks. Okay, this is my little treasure chest here. I keep all my memory books and newspaper clippings, pictures of old students and things like that in here. And so this is really precious to me. This is my Sifu, my teacher, Paul's son, Grandmaster, the Praying Mantis, Northern Praying Mantis. Great man, very wonderful human being, and I'm grateful he took me under his wing. Like that, this is when I won the Worlds back in Chicago 2 years ago. Some nice local press coverage for Humboldt. Next to it, this is the Chinese school where I studied in Dengfeng, China. I was one of those guys in there somewhere. Oh, this was a nice thank you note when I did a seminar at an elementary school for kids, and they all sent me thank you cards afterwards. That was really sweet. This year's my best student ever. He won the nationals. Great guy, Aaron. He still works here, City of Eureka. It's my first student, BJ, who he was so talented. I taught him everything I knew in like 3 months, and he ran out of material. I'm like, BJ, I had nothing left to teach you. And he went off to baseball, became a great baseball player. So how do you like that? He was amazing, just a natural. And these are my two sons. And so that's the next generation of Nunchuckers right there. These are the belt levels when I taught my school here, from black down to brown, red, purple, yellow. And school patches, Northern Mantis style I taught. And then I also have the various patches, which I trade with other martial artists when I travel and compete and stuff, and we swap them back and forth. That's kind of a nice friendship thing. A couple of honorary belts and things for the competitions, so it's nice. And the teaching for me was surprisingly rewarding. I did not consider myself a teacher, really. I was really more of a practitioner, focused on the physical aspect. But as I taught, I found out that there was so much more to the martial arts than just the physical performance. It was the spiritual part. Well, what does the future look like for me? Well, I'll always be practicing. That won't stop. But from this point forward, I consider myself more of a resource that people can turn to if they want to know more about what I do or the art. And I hope that I will be always available to my students in any way they need me to look out for them or talk or anything like that. I feel very blessed to live in the Northwest on the Pacific Ocean, and I get to look out at it every day. And so often I look across and think, only 5,000 miles, and it's Okinawa where the Nunchucks originated. And I like to think that maybe the spirit of the Nunchucks have somehow crossed the ocean on the trade winds and landed here on my property and inhabited this space in the last 30 years, because I certainly feel it.